Next tonight, Bristol's failing schools have been warned to improve or face direct government intervention. The Education Secretary, Micheal Gove, has told the West Country tonight he'll force the poorest performers to convert to academies.
There are now more academy secondary schools in the city than conventional comprehensives, but unions warn it's gambling with children's futures. Our education correspondent Richard Payne reports.
I'd like you to ask each other some self-evaluation questions. You're going to pick one and I'm going to pick one.
Under local authority control, this school closed last summer, only to open 2 months later as an academy. Same buildings, same teachers, same pupils, but crucially, insists the principal, with new aspirations.
We have a vision here about, there is no reason why anybody should fail. As a local authority school, yes, there are certain constraints. Those are understandable constraints because somebody else is having to deliver targets in relation to the schools that they service. For me, what I'm able to do is bring it right back to that student that I have in front of me.
Almost half the 189 pupils at Bank Lee's Academy in Lawrence Weston are entitled to free school meals. After-school clubs and trips are paid for by the school, not parents. The Oasis Group, which runs it, also with 2 other primaries and 2 secondary schools in Bristol, receive the same amount of money direct from the government as a council-run school. This primary school was one of 7 forced to become an academy last year after what the government saw as failing standards under the previous local authority charge. Micheal Gove says he will turn more into academies this year in what he describes as his drive to force up standards.
There are some schools that are underperforming, where the head or the governors say, we don't want to be an academy, but actually the people who suffer as a result of that are the children who are not getting the benefits that a great education can bring. And where we do have schools which are underperforming and children who are suffering, then yes, I will step in. And we've seen education in Bristol improve immeasurably over the last few years, and academies have been at the forefront of that improvement.
More than a quarter of primary schools in Bristol are now academies, still small compared to the 67% of secondaries. In the southwest, 60% of secondaries are academies, way above the 48% national average. But opposition to Micheal Gove's master plan is strong amongst some teaching unions. The largest says academies will create a selective system offering inconsistent learning.
I get calls a lot from staff who are in schools which are in special measures or notice to improve, and their fears are going into a system that they don't want to go into, and they feel that their hands are tied. They feel they have no control, they have no voice, as to where and what they feel is a right for them and for their pupils.
But new government figures shows the southwest now has 388 academies, and with more coming this year, the education revolution shows no sign of stopping. Richard Payne in Bristol for the West Country Tonight.